Hello everyone, it's been a while. I have been really busy for last few months. How have you all been? In this segment of the series, we will be covering layers and their features. Layers are the most important part of digital art as they help you create wonders with your artwork. Layer panel is generally on the right side of the screen. If it's not visible, click on the layer button located on the upper right corner. The layer panel will appear. The red outline around the layer shows the selected layer. If you want to select another layer, simply click on that layer. The eye button on top of the layer box toggles between hide and unhide. Here, I will click on the button to unhide my layer. Similarly, click to hide. To move any layer, click and hold the layer to make it movable, then drag it to the desired position. Now, to make a new layer, click on the plus sign on top of the layer box. Next, let's edit the background of the layer by clicking on the circle at the bottom of the layer panel. Here, you have two options, color and texture. Color is pretty straightforward. You choose the color you want as background. And once you choose texture, you get texture settings. Now that the texture is applied, you will see the texture change in the background. In texture, you can change the depth, opacity, and scale of the texture. You can also change the texture pattern by clicking on the texture box. You can select from the provided textures or import your own texture by clicking on the plus sign. If you want more layer options, click on the layer panel and drag it out to the side. A more advanced version of the layer panel will open. On top of the panel, the first button we have is of adjustment layer. Here, you can add all the color adjustments and filters as a layer. The next button is to group different layers. Once clicked, you can drag in the layers you want to group and drag out the layer you want to remove from the group. Then to ungroup, you can access group options by clicking on the word group on top and click ungroup. Individual layer options are different from group layer options. Individual layer option can be accessed by clicking on the layer. First we have hide, duplicate, and clear layer, followed by alpha lock, merge and delete. On the last line, we have clip, select and mask. Apart from these options, we have layer blending modes on top of the panel. You can select the desired option by clicking on it. You can also adjust the layer opacity through this bar, under the blending mode. Let's unhide some of the layers to see how these options work. I will also add new layers. Most of the options are pretty self-explanatory, so we will only talk about alpha lock, clip, and mask. Let's start with alpha lock, which is a destructive layer manipulation tool. It locks in the undrawn part of the layer and lets you draw on the part you have already drawn. It also helps in keeping the lines inside the borders of the drawn shape. Alpha lock is usually used to add details and shadows. As alpha lock is destructive, you cannot erase your details without erasing the already drawn part. So if you make a mistake, you can only use undo. Next, we have clip. For clip you need two layers, one you want to clip and one to clip on. In Infinite Painter, the layer you want to clip on should always be under the layer you want to clip. Both of the layers, locked together, work similar to alpha lock. You can draw on the clipped layer after clipping or clip a layer with a drawing already sketched. Clip is usually used to contain or crop objects of the active layer into the layer below. You can clip more than one layer on top of the layer you want to clip on, like this. But before clipping these two clipped layers on the third layer together, you have to merge them. Otherwise, they will be clipped separately, and whatever was clipped on this layer will come out of the boundaries. And if you want to unclip the layers, then simply click on clip again from the layer options. As all these layers are non-destructive, you can edit and erase the drawings after clipping. Now, let's talk about layer masks. Layer mask is an essential tool in digital art. The purpose of masking is to hide certain parts of the layer without destroying the original layer. Masks are used in many different ways in digital art, such as adding shadows, hiding, creating negative and positive spaces, and adding texture. Click on the layer you want to hide and click mask, which will hide the layer. You have to use black, gray, and white pens to add effects while applying mask. White will reveal the drawing, and black will hide. And if you want to play with the opacity of the mask, you can do so from the layer options of the mask. Remember to use only opaque white and black. Also, the masks in Infinite Painter do not transfer to other layers, but you can apply mask to groups. Masks have their own layer options that can be accessed by clicking on the mask. That's it for this video. We will cover rest of the layer option in the next video, so please tune in for that. If you like this type of content, like, share, and subscribe.